with Asia. When we came to office, Canada had trade agreements. In spite of being one of the most open, trade-dependent nations in the world, we had trade agreements with only 5 countries, the least of any major trading country. Today, we have trade deals with 44 countries, and friends, si on regarde notre accès de libre-échange au marché mondial, près de 99% a été fait par des gouvernements conservateurs. If you look at Canada's free trade access in the world, which is going to be so important for the future of our country, almost 99% of it was created by conservative governments. Our economic action plan, that is why we are building the national infrastructure. In fact, our Conservative government is investing some $80 billion additional in Canada's infrastructure over the next decade. In things such as, I gotta name these, the Huron Central Railway, the new Algoma Public Health Building, the reconstruction of McNabb Street and South Market Street. Brian, by the way, the International Bridge. Brian has worked very hard on the project to refurbish the International Bridge Plaza. You know, we've done things like this across the country. Avec notre nouveau plan Chantier Canada, nous avons tout simplement l'investissement dans l'infrastructure le plus long, le plus important, fait par un gouvernement fédéral dans toute l'histoire de notre pays. Our new Building Canada plan is quite simply the longest, largest, most ambitious federal infrastructure investment in the history of this country. To implement our economic action plan to create good jobs and to build our economy for the years ahead. We're providing skills training to our workers. We're making affordable and effective investments in sectors key to economic prosperity in the long term, like the announcement I made today with the Association of Canadian Manufacturers and Exporters on creating an advanced manufacturing hub, a world-leading center of excellence right here in this country, in Canada. All of these things, these are things we said we would do, and we went out and did them. Nous avons fait ce que nous avions dit. We did what we said we would do. That is leadership. That is the Conservative leadership. We have a balanced budget in this country with lower federal taxes, with more spending on infrastructure, healthcare, education, more benefits for our families and seniors, the best prospects for young people anywhere in the world. That's the Conservative record, and that's why this country is the best country. Comparison shopping. We're in an election. What would our opponents do instead? What would they do? Well, you know, I could wrap it up, friends, in one line. They'd spend more money. You know, whatever we do, they just go and say they'd spend more money. We have tripled federal infrastructure spending. Justin says, I'll quadruple it. That's it. La vérité, c'est que les libéraux et les NPD n'ont aucune idée nouvelle pour l'économie. Ils disent seulement qui vont dépenser plus d'argent, des dizaines de milliards de dollars plus d'argent que nous. The truth is, the Liberals and the NDP haven't got a single new idea for the economy. They just say they'll spend more money, tens of billions of dollars more money than we will. Money we don't have. And how exactly would they get it? How exactly will they pay for it? Justin Trudeau had an interesting answer to that one. He said he didn't have to explain that. He didn't have to explain how he made his spending promises because he proclaimed famously, the budget will balance itself. The budget will balance itself. Now, as you know, friends, he's changed his tune a little bit. He says he will run a
modest deficit. A modest deficit. I guess the budget won't balance itself quite after all. He says, well, maybe 3 modest deficits. Well, maybe modest $10 billion deficits. Friends, look, we know this story. Look at the Liberals in Ontario with their modest deficits. Now the province's credit rating has been downgraded. And remember the mess we had federally, the modest deficits of the Liberals in the 1970s that went on for 30 years until we ended up with deep cuts to healthcare and education and huge tax increases. And friends, we are not going to let our country go back to those kinds of on the other hand, they say they will pay for all of their tens of billions of dollars of spending increases, at least $35 billion a year, by the way, $35 billion, simply by raising taxes. By raising taxes, starting with job-creating businesses, because the NDP says those taxes are too low. But when Thomas Mulcair was asked what the tax rate on business was, he didn't know. He didn't know. That's NDP economic ideology for you. They don't know how much you pay in tax, but they sure know that you should be paying more. You know, friends, we have also seen how this NDP theory really works in too many provinces. They claim they can balance the budget by raising taxes. But tax increases don't balance a budget. They just kill jobs and they just wreck the economy. You know, friends, both the NDP and Justin's Liberals want to raise taxes. They both favor Kathleen